We have an out-of-town scorer in the first period in Montreal. Lafleur has scored and put Montreal up 1-0 on St. Louis.
Must have been before the national anthem. Sittler and Bob Clark to take the draw in neutral ice. Into the lead zone. Carlisle off to Pelech, back to Carlisle. Clark forechecking for Philadelphia, gets a piece of the puck. Rick Lapointe for Philadelphia. He's hooked, and down went McDonald as Andy Van Helleman allows action to continue. And that is off the glass. Knocked down by defenseman Luce Dupont. Rolling puck, tries to get it to Billy Barber. Carlisle makes up McDonald, keeps it in the zone. Into the corner, the captain, Darryl Sittler. Luce Dupont right there with Bob Clark. And a little pushing and shoving, face-off in the Philadelphia zone.
Interesting. Dupont and Sittler going, exchanging pleasantries right there. Tension's high in playoff, believe me. It doesn't take very much to ignite tempers, and the pressure that is on each and individual member of any team, or in every team in the playoffs, is extremely high. And of course, you don't want to make that mistake that will cost your team the game or cost them a goal. And believe me, one little thing and bang, that'll set you right off.
And moves Dupont for the shoulder into center iceman Stan Weir, who flared back at Dupont. We didn't think it was going to be a chippy kind of game, but we'll know for sure. Boris Kindrachuk to take the draw with Stan Weir. Face-off is in the Philadelphia zone. Going forward is the veteran Joe Watson, who has played the second most games in a Philadelphia uniform. Lost in the zone, knocked down by the Leafs. That was Boutet into the corner. Bennett clears it out the neutral ice, and it may roll in on goaltender Palmateer, but if it does not, it will be icing. Face-off down in the Philadelphia zone. Let's talk about guys who have not played for Philadelphia. Harvey Too Tall Bennett on the ice right now. Paul Holmgren has never seen Stanley Cup play, Bob. The Butterflies about nose high at this point in time?
Oh, definitely. I think the fact that, you dream about it as your kid and you see it all the time on TV, but you never really know exactly what it is until you experience it firsthand, and these youngsters are doing just that this year.
Boutet stick handling into the corner. Joe Watson on him. There is Weir and Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk tries to dig it free from Weir. Harvey Too Tall Bennett. Flyers can come 2-on-1. Off to Don Selesky. Looks for a breaking Bennett. Too far from him. Good back checking by Boutet to get to the puck. Skates it off. Takes Boutet into the corner. Spun around. The puck is in the corner. Salming. Off the backhand. Still in the Toronto Maple Leaf zone. Finally, it's Turnbull getting it back to neutral ice. Tommy Bladen with the puck. Throws it back into the Toronto corner. Past referee Andy Van Helleman. Dropped off for Borje Salming. So Bennett gets a stick on him. Weir with the puck in neutral ice. Looks up to the right wing, tries to move around Tom Bladen. Throws it into the Philadelphia zone where Kindrachuk controls for Philadelphia. Backhands it to Joe Watson. Looks left wing. Selesky is free on the right wing. Selesky going one-on-one with Ian Turnbull. Shot is into the seats. Face-off will be in the Leaf zone.
Ian Turnbull played that play perfectly. He had good position on Selesky, forcing him to the outside. He had no play whatsoever. He had perfect body position, not allowing Selesky to cut back into the middle and forcing him to take that wild shot from the boards, in which he got his stick on, deflected high over the glass and out of play.
George Ferguson, number 10, 24-year-old center iceman, to take the draw with Rick McLeish. McLeish will attempt to get it back to Jim Watson playing the left point. He is paired with defenseman Big Bob Daly, the Count. We did see some shirts here today with Count Dracula on them.
That's right. He's got the T-shirts out now, and everybody's got the Count there. Big hockey player on the front with a Dracula face and big number 2 on the sweater.
We will tell our fans watching throughout the Delaware Valley area that this is the game going back throughout Canada, Hockey Night in Canada. McLeish gets a piece of it, still controls, off to Jimmy Watson. His second shot's coming up here, shot! Oh, loose in front! Out of the goal mouth was Palmateer, and it's controlled by the Leafs. Here's the count, shot, partially deflected, and knocking it down was Earl Thompson. Here come the Leafs 2-on-1. McKinney backhands to Ferguson. Loses control. There's McLeish for Philadelphia. A lot of hitting in front. Finally, Jimmy Watson for Philadelphia sticks really high in the Philadelphia zone.
Earl Thompson made 2 superb defensive plays for Toronto there in both exchanges there. He took the pass off there, and then when Bob Daly got the puck, he went out there and blocked the shot to the net when Palmateer was down and out.
Shot deflected in front, knocked down. Finally, it's McKinney away with the puck. The Leafs can come 3-on-3. Off to the left winger, Earl Thompson. He tees it up, partially deflected by Bob Daly. Down to the stick of Gary Dornhopper. He goes off the boards for Daly. The Leafs make a line change. Daly, wing to wing to Ross Lonsbury. Lonsbury into the Leaf zone. Moves around McDonald's check. Tries to take it past Salming. And the Leafs lose it in front into the corner. Lonsbury looks for Leach. Shot. Didn't get wood on it. Salming knocks it down. Leafs look like they're pressing a little bit, Bob. Oh, what a hit there. We're going to have probably a charge or cross-check by Ross Lonsbury.
Interference, I think the call is Van Hellemond when Lonsbury laid a clean check on him, but I don't think Lanny McDonald had received the pass yet or had touched the puck, and that constitutes an interference call. I don't think Ross is very happy with that. I think he thought that Lanny McDonald had touched the puck before he came across and laid them out with that good body check.
That's the first penalty to the period, coming at the 3:30 mark. We're in a scoreless hockey game. Interference is the call against the Flyers' Ross Lonsbury. And the previous 3 games that the Leafs played, they have pumped in 4 in 10 opportunities, which is really astronomical, Bob.
I'll tell you, they have a potent power play, and they got guys out there that can really move that puck around. You got Boris Salming and Ian Turnbull on the points, who are good stick handlers and can really shoot a puck. And then you have number 27 in the middle, Daryl Sittler, who I think is one of the premier centers in this league.
Philadelphia will counter with the usual penalty-killing forwards of Bob Clark and Bill Barber, as you see action in front of...
That's the way I was talking about Earl Thompson making a great defensive play on Ross Lonsbury when Palmetier was down and out after making the save. The rebound came over to Ross, and Thompson got his stick on it and knocked it away, and of course he smothered Bob Daly's shot too, and he made 2 excellent defensive plays for Toronto.
Barber tries to get a piece of the puck, but Salming finally retreats back into the Leaf zone. Goes to the backhand of Lanny McDonald, who led the National Hockey League in power play goals during the season with 16. He scored 3 the other night out in Pittsburgh. Ian Turnbull, number 2, drops it off for Dave Williams, wing to wing to Lanny McDonald with Sittler trailing. Tries to take DuPont wide. Takes it deep into the corner. Still controls. Clark on him, comes back to the point. Turnbull tries to throw it up in the air, knocked down by the stick of Bob Clark. Turnbull controls as the Leafs start to widen out. Sittler is free at the right side. Loose in front, can Perrant find it? There's shot, score! Went right to Daryl Sittler, and the Leafs on top as Bernie Perrant couldn't find the handle, Bob.
Screened all the way, even from the shot that Turnbull took on the point. Big number 5, Rick LaPointe, and in front was number 22 for Toronto, Dave Williams, and Bernie did not see the shot at all. It hit the man in front of the net, laid right there, and as Perrant went to put his glove on it, the puck was slid over to Daryl Sittler, and he had the wide open net, just yawning at him, and he just put it in the open space, and Toronto leads this game 1-0.
Remember the last time the Leafs were in the building, they did win on national television. A power play goal gives Toronto a 1-0 lead. Sittler with a stick raised high, calling for the puck as Ian Turnbull teed it up. Perrant couldn't find the handle. It was tipped out to him, and the Leafs take a 1-0 lead. That goal coming at the 4:10 mark of period number 1. Randy Carlyle with the puck, tries to drop it off for Stan Weir. Off to Pat Boutet, loses control. Ridden off nicely by Kelly. Joe Watson onto the stick of O. Kinderchuk, but he'll have to do it solo. Looks for Kelly and Leach over the line onside, into the corner. Going for Carlyle and Kelly. Kelly and Carlyle into the board. Bob Neely back checking, picks up the puck. Moves around a hip check by Kinderchuk and controls for the Leafs. Winds it up, in on Perrant. Gets a piece of it off to Reggie Leach. Boutet in on Leach. Runs right away and thrown out in front. Ashby comes out, backhanded in front. Whoa, parked in front was Boutet. Out in front again. Watson clears to Reggie Leach. The Flyers can come 3-on-2. Leach hit the right wing. Over the line, stick handling, looks for Kinderchuk, loses control, and a good play by defenseman Mike Pellick. Pellick looks for Neely, but instead throws it into the Philadelphia zone. Karams right onto the stick of Joe Watson. The Leafs make a line change. Bob Kelly loses in front. Kinderchuk, can he get a stick down and gets it to neutralize to Reggie Leach. Leach, stick handles for Philadelphia. Over the line, tries to throw it in and continues after it. Look for Kinderchuk in the slot, out front. Almost deflected home by Boris Salming. Lonsbury on for Philadelphia. Neely goes wing to wing to Ferguson. Ridden off nicely by Bob Daly. Jim Watson controls for Philadelphia. End-to-end action so far. The Flyers trailing 1-0. Lonsbury throws it into the corner. Dornhofer in quickly along with Earl Thompson. Flyers back away. Lonsbury tries to dig it free. Here comes McLeish for Philadelphia. Tries to come back to the point. Jimmy Watson tees it up in front. Dornhofer. Oh, and kicked out. There's Watson again. Throws it in front. Knocked down by defenseman Turnbull off the Rick McLeish. Good pressure by Philadelphia. McLeish gets it to Dornhofer. Lonsbury still in the slot. Back to Jimmy Watson. Again a shot. Partially deflected and kicked free by Jimmy McKinney.
And that's where being part-time defenseman comes out, when blocking those shots, and he made a good move on Jim Watson.
Everybody on side for Philadelphia. Watson throws it into the Leaf zone and heads to the bench. Boris Salming behind goaltender Mike Palmetier. Off to center iceman George Ferguson, flying down the left wing, takes a look at Paul Holmgren, throws it back to Earl Thompson. He backhands it and heads to the bench. Leafs make a wholesale line change. DuPont with the puck for Philadelphia. Looks for Holmgren on the right wing. Has Barber on the left wing. Good stick handling by DuPont. Over the line, everybody onside Philadelphia. Barber shot. Oh, pad save by goaltender Palmetier. There is Boya Salming, losing it to Lanny McDonald. Barber comes in, comes back to Bob Clark, playing the left point. Here come the Leafs 2-on-2. McDonald with Sittler trailing, has Rick Lapointe to beat, pulls it behind Lapointe. Oh, into the corner, backhanded in front. Nobody can keep it in the Leaf zone. Flyers get lucky, Bob.
Very good move by Lanny McDonald, but the kid, Rick Lapointe, stayed right with him. He didn't really watch the puck too well. He just wanted to stay with the body and force McDonald to go wide, which he did.
Out in front, giveaway by Philadelphia, but there's Barber to... No, he can't get it out. Here comes Sittler, hustling for the puck with DuPont. Shot, hit the pipe. McDonald's shot, partially deflected by the stick of Billy Barber. Penalty against Philadelphia. Williams shot, loose in front, score! The Leafs go up 2-zip.
Philadelphia seems to be pressing quite a bit here. They're running around in their own end here rather than just staying to basic system and getting that puck over to the wings. They're trying to make a fancy pass up the middle, and they're being stopped all the time. As you see the puck here, who slowly tries to get by. Bernie moving out to knock away the slow rolling puck so that Lanny McDonald can't get a stick on it. But in turn, he missed the puck, and it rolled by on the short side, and Toronto goes ahead 2-0.
Scores his 5th goal in just 4 games.
I don't think McDonald scored that goal. I think number 22, Dave Williams, is the one that should get credit for the goal, and I believe it probably will be corrected later on.
All right, the Flyers are down 2-0. We have only played 7 minutes here into period number 1. That's Tom Bladen for Philadelphia. Tries the backhand at the Barber. Knocked down nicely by defenseman Mike Pellick. Joe Watson to Paul Holmgren. Throws it into the Leaf zone. Clark hustling for the puck with Sittler. Looks for Barber out in front. Carlisle reading it all the way. Throws it to the point. Bladen shot. Through a screen. Oh, getting a piece of the goaltender. Palmatier into the seats. Face off in the Leaf zone.
2-0 lead's a pretty good lead, but there's lots of hockey left. The shot's 4-4 for both teams, but Toronto hadn't had that strong of scoring opportunities, but have capitalized on the two that they have had. There's a look at number 29, Mike Palmatier, who is going to be the big rock they hope for Toronto in this series with Philadelphia.
Boston is out on top of the visiting LA Kings 2-0. The Flyers here at the Spectrum trailing the Leafs 2-0. Kindrachuk, Kelly, and Reggie Leach this line with Bladen and Joe Watson playing on the blue line. Stan Weir to take the draw with Kindrachuk. Lone penalty of the game assessed to Ross Lonsberg, and Darryl Sittler scored a power play goal to give Toronto a 1-0 lead. That came at the 4:10 mark. And it's 7-11. Here it comes again.
As you see the puck here, Lanny McDonald didn't touch it at all, and it was the puck was deflected when Williams shot, and Bernie trying to move it out and clear it away from McDonald, missed it, and the puck just had enough power on it to roll over the goal line.
Bladen keeps it in, going into the corner. In Turnbull and Oak, Kindrachuk for Philadelphia. Can Bob Kelly get a stick on it? No, he can't. Overskates. Leach coming around, turn around, throws it out in front. Kindrachuk hustling for the puck, beats Neely to it, holds. Stick handling is Kindrachuk for Philadelphia. Weir on him, avoids a check by Weir. Kindrachuk to Kelly. Watson shot. Leach can't get a stick down. Here's Bladen with Neely, still in the Leaf zone. Down goes Neely to sit on the puck. And 2 Leafs right there will have a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Flyers are really pressing. They're sending all 5 men into the Toronto zone, and it's kind of dangerous, really. I know that they're down 2-0, and they have to pull out all stuff to get back in this game with a quick goal, but the fact is that if you send all 5 guys in and you miss that puck, you're going to have a lot of 2-0 breakaways and 3-on-1s by the opposing team. They just did change the second Toronto goal to Dave Williams, being credited with that goal, as we picked that up on the instant replay.
Kindrachuk and Weir to take the draw. 8 minutes to go in the period. Harvey Bennett with a stick on it, goes into the corner. Weir and Don Selesky. In comes Tom Bladen, get a stick on it, beats Neely to it. Around the boards, hustling forward is rookie Randy Carlisle. Goes to the backhand to Pat Boutette. Good chunk right there. It's Stan Weir with Jimmy Watson flailing away at the stick. Weir looks for a breakaway for Bob Neely. As soon as it's touched up, we'll have the faceoff back in the Philadelphia zone.
2-line pass is the call. This is what Toronto will go to try and compensate for the fact that the Flyers are putting all 5 men up inside the offensive zone and forcing Toronto into making those breakaway passes, and hopefully that they are being hurried enough that they can't be as accurate with those passes. If they are accurate, we're in for a long night, a lot of one-on-ones with Bernie Perron in goal.
Ferguson and McLeish to take the draw. Back to Moose DuPont. Partially deflected. Going into the corner is Randy Carlisle as Gunhofer is spun around. McLeish comes in. Keeping it in the zone was Lansbury to McLeish. Going to get a stick down underneath him, and finally the Leafs, Ferguson gets it off to Thompson. They're coming 2-on-1. Thompson with Carlisle trailing. Back to Thompson, backhanded. Score! The Leafs are up 3-0. Oh, cannot believe this, Bob. Just what you talked about. We have not played 9 minutes into the first period, and the Leafs with a commanding 3-0 lead.
Here's a play here. Earl Thompson makes a good feed over to number
28, Mike Pellick.
28, Mike Pellick, and he makes the move on Bernie Prom. Bernie slides over, tries to get his legs closed, and the puck is put through the 5-hole or between the goaltender's leg, and Toronto leads 3-0. The pack there that when Toronto was breaking out, Rick Lapointe charged in on the Toronto puck carrier, and that allowed Toronto to break out with a 2-on-1 break. I think the big thing is that the Flyers are so over anxious and so concerned about getting the puck and really get going that they've forgotten the way to play the system, and believe me, they'll settle down before this game's over.
Into the corner, McLeish for Dornhofer, but Earl Thompson is back. Dornhofer comes back to Moose DuPont. It's intercepted by McKenny. He throws it out to neutral ice. Lapointe drops it off for Moose DuPont, right back into the Leaf zone. Remember, there's 3-0 up. McLeish tries to throw it in on Palmatier. It's beneath. Earl Thompson takes a shoulder from Dornhofer, and finally we have a call by referee Andy Van Helman. It will be face-off in the Leaf zone. I don't recall, Bob, us doing a game all year long with anybody jumping out 3-zip. Moose DuPont throws a glove at Tiger Williams. Let's see what develops out of this. And both are heading to the bench, maybe 2 minutes for roughing.
I think that's what it is. I didn't see what predicated that move by DuPont, but it must have been something.
The 3 goals.
See, it's a good move in the fact that for Toronto that now that the Flyers are down by 3 goals, they'll be pressing and trying to get back into this game quickly, and tempers will be a little short. So the fact that they try to get a little instigating and try to get under the skin of the Philadelphia players would constitute a lot of penalties and really be tough for the Flyers to get back when they're playing short-handed.
2 minutes for roughing. Both teams will skate 4 skaters a squad. DuPont and Williams both off for roughing. Flyers hockey coming your way over Prism Network. Hugh Gannon and Bob Taylor here at the Spectrum. 17,077 coming alive again, but have not had much to cheer about so far as the Flyers have coughed up 3 goals.
And I think the defensive lapses you have to attribute to the fact that they're a little bit over-exuberant.
Palmatier makes the save and hangs on. Not too sure he saw that one, Bobby, but he made the save as the puck did come up.
Best thing for Mike to do throughout this game, Palmatier, that is to hang on to everything, just so he gets his feet wet, just to get the butterflies away, just to hang on to everything. And of course, it forces face-offs. It slows down the opposition's attack and allows your team to get regrouped and everything, and allows him to get into the game a lot more. And those butterflies will leave him pretty shortly.
Bladen was already in the Philadelphia zone, not back at the blue line, and then had to hustle back for the puck as Joe Watson throws it into the corner, knocked down by Ian Turnbull. Looks for Sittler, goes wing to wing, too far for Lanny McDonald. Knocked down by Joe Watson in the Philadelphia zone. Goes off the board to Bob Clark, pulls it past McDonald, avoids a hip check, looks for Barber, tries to turn around, but it's Turnbull intercepting back to Salmon. To McDonald off his stick, knocked down nicely by Joe Watson off to Bill Barber. Barber with the puck, center ice, poke checked away by Turnbull. In turn, tries to the breaking Darryl Sittler, knocked down by Tom Bladen. The Flyers all onside. Clark at the blue line, keeps it in the Leaf zone. Holds, throws it to Barber. Can't get a stick down, just went wide of Palmatier. Around the board for McDonald. In deep comes Joe Watson, tries to get a piece of McDonald. Off to Bill Barber, looks for a breaking Tom Bladen in the slot in front. Bladen can't get a stick down. Here comes Darryl Sittler in the horse race. Bob Clark hustling back for Philadelphia and gets a piece of it. 2 of the premier center icemen in the NHL, Bob, and I think Sittler had a better opportunity than what had happened there.
Well, everybody says that Clark can't skate very good, but there was a prime example of just how well he can skate. Sittler is no turtle by any means, and he came in and Clark had a good angle on him, of course, but he made a great defensive play on the Toronto forward.
Sittler tries to throw it out in front, stood up by the count, and it comes off to Reggie Leach. Clark goes off, looks for McLeish. Flyers breaking 3-on-3. Poke checked away, offside the call. Nice play by rookie defenseman Randy Carlisle to get lumber on that puck, and it came back over the blue line.
Toronto's in a position now at a 3-goal lead that they can afford to play a good, sound defensive style. They don't have to score any goals. Now to win, they have to check, and protect that lead. Although one must caution, if you do go into that real tight defensive style, puck tends to stay in your end quite a bit.
Well, you saw that scoreboard. Boston up over LA 5-zip. It's not that bad here at the Spectrum. Just 3-0 Toronto. Mike Pelech with the puck, gets to the red line, throws it into the zone. Looked like Neely was offside by about 8 feet, but it comes free to Reggie Leach. Almost loses control to Neely. Tries to get the stick down and free it up. In comes Bob Daly. We'll have a face-off in the Philadelphia zone.
We have another scorer in the first period. Montreal's gone ahead of St. Louis 2-0. Larry Robinson has put them up on a goal by an assist from Murray Wilson and Doug Risebrough. Here's big Bob Waldo Neely, as they call him in Toronto, drafted as a defenseman, but seeing most of his action now as a left winger.
The bench of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and helmeted Bruce Boudreau, number 19, who has not been on the ice yet. Pelech can't find the handle, but throws it into the Philadelphia zone. Reggie Leach back for Philadelphia. We have 8:30 to go in the period. The Leafs 3, Philadelphia 0. Moose DuPont and Tiger Williams out for Toronto. Leach goes off to Rick McLeish. With the puck for Philadelphia, tries to stick handle past Neely. Carlisle right there. McLeish tries to get his skate under it. Comes free to Jimmy Watson. Good move by number 9, Don Ashby. Ashby gets it off to Boutet, ridden off by Bob Daly. Boutet still controls, throws it into the corner. Ashby was tripped up, and the brain trust of the Leafs very, very concerned as Philadelphia plays near giveaway again. But finally it's Kinderchuk, back to Harvey Too-Tall Bennett, deep into the corner, tries to beat Carlisle to the puck and does. Tries to get his stick down. Carlisle right there, off to Kinderchuk, too hot for him. The back-checking Ashby throws it out to Boutet, comes free to Neely. He nearly fans on it, and it's Bennett getting it back to Rick Lapointe. Lapointe goes wing to wing to Moose DuPont. Over the line, runs into 3 Leafs, and it's Bob Neely off the boards for Boutet. In comes Harvey Too-Tall Bennett. Randy Carlisle brings it 2-on-3. Hits the red line and throws it into the corner. Takes a carom right onto the stick of Moose DuPont. Right in front of Bernie Perrant. 7:20 to go here in the first period. Off to Kinderchuk with Selesky. Into the Leaf zone. The back-checking Jim McKinney with the puck. Throws it out to neutral ice. Lapointe knocks it down and it comes free to Moose DuPont. Tries to stick handle and then goes to the backhand into the Leaf zone. Salming going for the puck. The Flyers make a line change.
Toronto is really having their defense move up well. Flyers are sending 2 men in, try to cut off the pass, but they're getting the puck through to their wingers, and then with the defenseman breaking up, taking the place of the center iceman, they're getting that puck out of their end relatively easy.
Paul Holmgren right out in front. Philadelphia decides that's the best way to come out. Gets it off the Bob Clark into the corner. Going for it is McKinney for the Leafs. Paul Holmgren takes a run at McKinney, almost coughs it up. Bob Clark gets a stick on his stick, and finally it is Earl Thompson going to the backhand where Joe Watson has it for Philadelphia. Right back into the Leaf zone. That's what the Flyers have to do at this point. Thompson gets it back to Ian Turnbull. He looks to Salming, still controls. Tries to trap Clark, and the zone comes free to neutral ice. Too hot for Ferguson. Joe Watson for Bob Clark to Ian Turnbull. Lofts it back into the Philadelphia zone. Exactly what you talked about, Bobby. This club can't go into a shell.
No, you're right. It could prove costly to them with 2 periods left to play in the game. It's a little bit too early to go into a defensive game right now.
Joe Watson gets it back to neutral ice where Salming goes wing to wing to Mike Pelech. Pelech backhands it to the line to Tiger Williams. Avoids a check by McLeish. In on goaltender Perrant. Comes back to the right point. There's Randy Carlisle throwing it into the corner to Darryl Sittler. Out in front, getting a piece of it. Philadelphia. Carlisle can't keep it in. Delayed icing will be the call here. Bladen too hot. Barber gets a piece of it. Knocked down by Carlisle. Back checking Lanny McDonald with the puck. Tries to move around Watson and throws it into the Philadelphia zone. Flyers have 5 shots on goal. The Leafs 5 and have scored 3 times. Just 5.5 minutes to go in the period. Jimmy Watson. Stick handling for Philadelphia. Tries to move around McDonald. Get a stick down. Takes McDonald down. Dornhofer tries to get it to Jimmy Watson. Back to Dornhofer. Tries to stick handle. Ridden off by Carlisle and Sittler with the puck. Lonsbury stands him up and it comes back to neutral ice. Let's see who the penalty is against. I assume it's Randy Carlisle, and I would think too Gary Dornhofer.
Both of them are going off, I believe, for roughing. It's usually the safest thing for a referee to call is double minors there to make sure that both teams are penalized, and if tempers do start to get flared, then they can cool off very quickly in that sin bin, so to speak, for 2 minutes. Speaking of another upcoming Stanley Cup game to be seen here on Prism is this Wednesday night, April 13th. Of course, these two teams will be the two teams that you will see Wednesday night, and that is Game 2 of the best-of-7 quarterfinals here, right on Prism.
The Leafs with 5:11 to go in the period with a commanding 3-0 lead, and Philadelphia has not played its game so far.
Philadelphia is not to the fact that the thing is that I think all the players are trying to do too much, and rather than do their own job, they're trying to do everybody else's. They've had an 8-day layoff. They're well rested, and they just want to. It's like a frisky colt being let out in the spring.
Grind it down. Lapointe knocks down the puck in the Philadelphia zone. Looks for McLeish. Will start the rush down the left wing. Looks for a breaking Ross Lonsbury. Throws it into the Leaf zone. Palmateer gets a piece of it to Tiger Williams. In comes Lonsbury to try and dig it free. Down goes Tiger Williams. Lonsbury gets a piece of it, going for it. Salming and McLeish goes to the backhand. DuPont keeps it in the Leaf zone. Off to McLeish. Drops it off for Lonsbury. Oh, right into Palmateer, and he makes the save and hangs on. Although he did lose the puck, referee Van Helman said stop action. He lost sight of the puck.
Lonsbury made a good play by getting away from his check, Ian Turnbull, to even get that shot off on Mike Palmateer, and Palmateer standing.
That first game against the Montreal Canadiens back in October. Kindrachuk going forward, and Lapointe keeps it in the zone. He can spot Kindrachuk, can he? Still stick handles. Throws it into the corner for Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk with Ashby on him. In comes Lapointe. Kindrachuk tries to kick it free. Controls for Philadelphia. Drops it off, intercepted Ashby, and here come the Leafs 2-on-2. Ashby with Neely trailing. Tries to take Moose DuPont wide. Shot. Perrant makes the save off to defenseman Moose DuPont. Looks for Kindrachuk on the left wing. Moves around. Ashby is tripped up. We're going to have a penalty here. And the Flyers will have the first manpower opportunity for them here in Kirk. The Flyers now have the manpower advantage and have to score if they're going to get back in the game this early. McLeish takes it deep. It's 4-on-3. McLeish stick handles in the face-off circle. Looks for Big Bob Daly. Comes wing to wing to Billy Barber. Clark is in front. Shot off the stick of goaltender Palmateer. Comes back to Big Bob Daly. Daly makes the shot to Billy Barber. 30-footer. Moves around. The sliding Borja Salming kept in by Barber. Off to Rick McLeish. Looks for the count. Daly. Turnbull on McLeish. Still controls for Philadelphia. Still controls. Looks for Billy Barber. McLeish wrist shot. Through a screen. Clark backhanded. Beats Salming to the puck. Looks for Daly shot. Whistle wide. Nobody at the left point. Great play by Rick McLeish. And finally, an equally good play by Ian Turnbull. Good play by the diving Billy Barber to McLeish with Clark free at center ice. Still in the zone. Big Bob Daly gets a stick down. Off to Bob Clark. Looks for McLeish breaking. Back to Daly. Shot. Partially deflected. Off to Billy Barber. Throws it in front. Comes out to Bob Daly. Out of the penalty box. Williams. And he make that Carlisle. He sends it the length of the ice. No icing. It's 5 skaters against 4. Great play by Randy Carlisle out of the penalty box.
And that's the trouble. You got to have to yell out there with the crowd as being as loud as they are. Probably he couldn't hear Dornhofer yell to tell Big Bob Daly that Carlisle was coming.
For Philadelphia, Carlisle drops it off for Williams around the board, and DuPont tries to beat Thompson to the puck and goes into the corner. Zaleski beats Pellick to it, drops it off the board. Kindrachuk gets there first, looks back to Bladen at the right point, circles to the face-off circle, looks for Zaleski, back to Bladen, comes right back to Kindrachuk. Back to Zaleski. Back to Moose DuPont. Can't get a stick down, but still keeps it in the Leaf zone. Looks for Zaleski, parked in front. Knocked down nicely by Carlisle, and he beats it off the boards into the Philadelphia zone. Ashby will be out in 10 seconds.
Toronto playing their position very, very well in this manpower advantage for Philadelphia, not allowing the Flyers to get any good shots from the slot area, which comes through most scoring opportunities.
Thompson or make the Turnbull, tees it up and almost puts it into the second deck. Hits the facing and comes back into the seats. The Flyers cannot score.
And defensive play.
Turnbull, the Sittler, his shot. Perrant got a pad on it. Goes into the corner. Tiger Williams and Jimmy Watson right there. And well,
Flyers outscoring Toronto 33-23, and believe me, they're going to have to score a lot of goals here to get back in this game.
There was another excellent opportunity as Ian Turnbull unloaded a blister right at the point. Jimmy Watson stick handling for Philadelphia. Lenny McDonald. Sittler intercepted, almost a giveaway. Sittler closing. Shot. Great save by Perrant. Oh, another giveaway by Philadelphia, and Sittler couldn't connect. Flyers certainly off their game plan, Bobby.
It's that trying to make the hard play rather than the easy play, which is usually the one that'll work for you every time. When you try to make the fancy play, most of the time it'll backfire.
Darryl Sittler right on the blue line off the in Turnbull. Offside, I think McDonald on the right wing. Another couple of giveaways there. And minute and 15 to go here in the first period. The Flyers trailing by a count of 3-0. Rick LaPointe to the red line into the Leaf zone. Hustling back is Randy Carlyle. In comes Reggie Leach around the board for Pat Boutette. Bill Barber right there. And DuPont keeps it in. Looks for Bob Clark. Barber's breaking. Holds. Still with the puck. Throws it into Leach. Can't get a stick down. Stan Weir hustling for the puck. We have 53 seconds to go here in period number 1. Weir tries to move around Leach and does. Out comes Moose DuPont. Throws it into the Philadelphia zone. The back checking Bobby Clark controls for the Flyers. Tries to throw it out to the left wing for Barber, and it comes free to Randy Carlyle. Off to Mike Pellick. Knocked down by Bob Clark. LaPointe throws it back into the Leaf zone. 30 seconds and counting here in the first period. Randy Carlyle takes a look at Bob Clark and drops it off instead to Pat Boutette. Boutette off the boards for Stan Weir. Bob Kelly for Philadelphia. Offside, and it may very well have been a premature call by the linesman, John D'Amico, Bob.
No, that puck did go over the blue line, and Paul Holmgren was caught there. He tried to take Pat Boutette's body when he passed by him, which you're supposed to do, but the puck came out over the blue line and then back in, and of course Bob Kelly touched it up, and Holmgren got in there, and that was an offside. Good call by linesman John D'Amico.
15 seconds left in the period. Ian Turnbull looks at Paul Holmgren, drops it off to Thompson. Knocked down by Tom Bladen. It's a bouncing puck. Knocked into the zone. Hustling back is Daly for Philadelphia. Throws it out to neutral ice, where Ferguson drops it back to Ian Turnbull. Lofts it high into the air. That's the end of the first period.
The Flyers will have to score early in this period to get right back in this game.
Dornhofer hustling for the puck deep into the Leaf zone. Tries to take it away from Ferguson. Comes back to DuPont. Wrist shot. Partially deflected by Palmateer. Comes free to Rick McLeish in the faceoff circle. Back to Big Count Daly. Through a screen. May have hit a skate. Goes into the corner. Ferguson clears off the left wing board for breaking Earl Thompson. Picked off by Bob Daly. Wing to wing to Jimmy Watson. He can't find the handle, but it's knocked down by Lonsbury in neutral ice. Drops it off to McLeish. He's onside. Jimmy Watson hustling into the corner. Lonsbury pulls up in the slot. Finally, it's dug out by McKenny. In comes McLeish. Can Daly keep it in the zone? Jumps over his stick, and it's Gary Dornhofer back for Philadelphia. Tries to go to Lonsbury. Jimmy Watson tries to stick handle away, and finally it is McLeish getting a piece of it, throwing it into the Leaf zone. Knocked down by Borja Salming. Lonsbury on top of Salming. Salming into the corner, back to Paul Holmgren. Kept into the Leaf zone. Underneath a couple of bodies. Holmgren controls. Clark is breaking for the goal mouth. Into Bob Clark. Shot! Hit the pipe! Hit the pipe! Bobby Clark's best chance to put Philadelphia on the board, and it hit the pipe.
Paul Holmgren set that play up beautifully. He spied Clark coming in. He waited just to the right time, and he fed Clark all alone, and that puck just bounced off the post out of way.
Holmgren drops it off to DuPont. Shot! Partially deflected. Clark can't get a stick down. Goes in the corner. Palmateer did not see it. Holmgren takes down Tiger Williams. Palmateer gets a stick on it to Bobby Clark. Lanny McDonald right there. Clark tries to get away from McDonald. To a breaking Darryl Sittler onside, 2-on-1. Sittler over the line. Back. Fanning on it was Tiger Williams. Holmgren with the puck for Philadelphia. They could have broken out 3-on-2 that time. Billy Barber moves right around Lanny McDonald. Still controls to LaPointe. He can't get a stick down, and it was a poke check by either Tiger Williams or Darryl Sittler.
Philadelphia, though they have to send 2 men in, have to make sure that when a defenseman moves up, they're going to have a forward stop back and take his position, or else they're going to get caught all night with 3-on-1s.
Don Selesky with the puck for Philadelphia. Takes it wide on the off wing for him. Looks for Kinderchuk, breaking too hot into the corner to Harvey Too Tall Bennett. Sittler gets a stick on it, and Bladen keeps it in the Leaf zone. Off the board for breaking Harvey Bennett. Knocked down. No, it's Carlyle overskating. Kinderchuk spun around. Carlyle gets it out to neutral ice. Knocked down by Joe Watson. Kinderchuk still in the zone. Joe loses the handle on it. Takes Williams into the board. Selesky comes in. Bennett frees it to Joe Watson. Still in the Leaf zone. Going for Kinderchuk. Bennett in the slot. Throws it into the corner. Bennett gets a stick down. Looks for a breaking Don Selesky. To the bird. Backhanded. Partially deflected by Williams. Freed up into the Philadelphia zone. And Perron has to make the stick save to take the icing off to Joe Watson. Good pressure by Philadelphia. Kinderchuk right in neutral ice. Look for a breaking Don Selesky on the right wing. Into the corner, going for it, Bob Neely. Nice play there by Neely to get it off to Ian Turnbull with Harvey Bennett on him. Off to Stan Weir. Weir drops it back to Randy Carlyle. In the zone was Ian Turnbull. Boutette as Big Bob Daly drops it too far for breaking Harvey Bennett. Icing is waved off. Flyers make a line change. Ian Turnbull with Harvey Too Tall Bennett draped all over him. McLeish against the boards. Offside, as trapped in the zone was defenseman Ian Turnbull. Good pressure so far for Philadelphia. We have played 3 minutes and 13 seconds into the scoreless middle period.
Philadelphia's going to have to use their points a lot more this period. They're wide open all night. Toronto is just collapsing on the middle there, hoping that the Flyers will not use the points as well as they might. But with men like Bob Daly, Rick Lapointe, Moose DuPont back there that can really shoot a puck, they're going to have to get up and get them shots through.
And it's your basic commercial timeout, which you do not find on a Prism broadcast, as we look at Rick McLeish, who leads Philadelphia scoring in Stanley Cup play with 28 goals. Second behind him is Reggie Leach, who pumped in 19 alone last season to set a Stanley Cup mark. 5 in one game, as did center iceman Darryl Sittler. Sittler against the Philadelphia Flyers in that wacko 7-game series. Okay, it's Jimmy Watson off to the count. Lounsbury with Boutet back checking for the Leafs. Takes Lounsbury into the corner. Tries to dig it free from Salming. Takes a hit from Dornhofer. McLeish right there. Dornhofer gets away from Salming. Lounsbury right there. And finally, Andy Van Helleman decides to call a penalty against Borje Salming, Bob.
That's an unusual call. Usually, Gary Dornhofer was very, very close. Salming couldn't go to his left. He could have gone to his right, but Ross Lounsbury was there. I think that Andy Van Helleman wanted him to move the puck a little quicker than he actually did, but Borje Salming neglected to freeze the puck, and Andy Van Helleman figured that was a delay of the game move, and that's a 2-minute minor.
Well, you've got to say, in all fairness, that was a hometown decision if I've ever seen one, Bob. Huh?
Well, questionable, Hugh. I've seen that time there was 2 Flyers right close to Salming, and they called it.
You saw the statistic on Borje Salming, 66 assists. The Flyers trying to get back into the game, and it's back into the Philadelphia zone. I think they have to score now, Bobby, because it has been that kind of evening by the close checking Leafs. Good play by Barber to get it to Daly. Looks for breaking Reggie Leach. Drops it off to the rifle. Tries to get it past Turnbull. And in turn is sent back into the Philadelphia zone. Make that Earl Thompson. Barber goes to the backhand of Bob Daly. The Flyers starting to crank it up. Here comes Daly. Gets to the blue line. Crowd starts to come alive to Bob Clark. Leaves a goal by McLeish, and once again, back into the Philadelphia zone. Clark heads to the bench, giving way to Oris Kindrachuk. 80 seconds on the manpower advantage for Philadelphia. They have yet to get a shot on goal. Here comes McLeish. Flying down that left wing, trying to move around Ferguson to Kindrachuk. Too hot for him. Fanning on it, poked away by the Leafs, back into the Philadelphia zone. Barber with Ferguson on him, pulls up, drops it off for Kindrachuk. Selesky was free, or make that Dornhofer right at the blue line, but the Kindrachuk didn't see him. Takes it in. Halfway to the face-off circle. Ridden off by 2 Leafs. In comes Lounsbury and freed by the Leafs. Boy, if they could have only seen Gary Dornhofer right at the blue line. Let's see what happens as Bill Barber looks to Ross Lounsbury. Has Kindrachuk right on the line, but goes to Lounsbury. Takes it wide, spins Carlisle around. In on Palmateer. Loose in front and dug out nicely by defenseman Ian Turnbull. Salming will be out in 35 seconds.
Philadelphia, that was the first real good chance they had of moving the puck into Toronto zone. It's the case where everybody's trying to do it themselves, and rather than working as a team, and it's almost like, here it's my turn to carry the puck, now it's your turn, and it hasn't been working for this power play.
Good play by Tom Bladen to keep it into the corner, around the board for Lanny McDonald, and he sends it the length of the ice. Salming will be out in 15 seconds. Parent drops it off for Ross Lounsbury. Flyers look like a tired club right now, Bob.
It could be a little while. You know, game conditions are very tough to achieve. You've been off for 8 days. You can practice all you want, but it's not like playing in a game.
DuPont is free at the left point. Tees it up. Wrist shot through a screen. Palmateer didn't see it. Comes free to Bladen. On his Salming. Throws it into the slot. Deflection. In front is Ross Lounsbury. Hustling for it is Captain Darryl Sittler. Bladen keeps it in the Leaf zone. 3 people in front. Off the dasher board. Goes off to Kindrachuk. Looks for Lounsbury in front. Still stick handling for Philadelphia. Turnaround shot. Off the skate of the Leafs, Randy Carlisle. He clears, and Bladen can't keep it in. Icing will be the call when it's touched by Moose DuPont.
You know, for a team that's only playing 4 defense, the defense pairings of Carlisle and Pellick and Brewery, Salming, and Ian Turnbull have really held up well, and they're playing extremely well in front of goaltender Mike Palmateer. Right there, Randy Carlisle, the rookie #1 draft pick for Toronto this year, did an excellent job of clearing the front of the net and not allowing the shot from Philadelphia to come through. Blocked them very well, and of course they were clearing very well. They're not allowing that rebound to lay there for any length of time. allowing Philadelphia to pounce on it and get a good shot on the goaltender.
Phillies baseball coming your way. Our first game of the year against the St. Louis Cardinals on Saturday night, April 23rd. And should be a good one as the Phils attempt to repeat as Eastern Division champs in the National League and hopefully this year take the Cincinnati Reds, although a lot of people say that L.A. will win the West. Holmgren shot. Oh, and getting a piece of it was Palmateer. Off to the hound. Bob Kelly backhand, and it is Holmgren trying to get a stick down. Flyers have the muscle squad out there now. It is Bob Kelly. Boarding will be the call here against Bob Kelly as he took a run at Mike Pelech.
And Mike Pelech's hurt. That one hurt the Toronto Maple Leaf defenseman right there, and believe me, that is one thing Toronto can't afford, is to get a defenseman hot. It's going to be charging. Hound did take more than the 3 steps allowed, and he came in and rather hard, and Pelech skates very slowly over to the bench.
That's the first penalty assessed to Philadelphia, coming at the 6:14 mark here in the middle period. And it is not the best of evenings so far for Philadelphia, but once again, we'd like to tell you in Stanley Cup play, if the game is tied at the end of regulation, we will go to sudden death or sudden victory if you prefer. Here it is, Bob.
Here's the play right here. Kelly coming all the way in and then taking Pelech into the boards rather heavily. And the Toronto defenseman kind of felt that check.
Borje Salming retreats behind goaltender Mike Palmateer. With the puck is Borje Salming. Still in the Leaf zone. Stick handles to neutral ice. Looks off to Ian Turnbull. Throws it into the Philadelphia zone off the board right onto the stick of Don Selesky. He gets a piece of it. The Leafs almost keep it in the Philadelphia zone and do. They try and widen out. That's Stan Weir getting a piece of it nicely, Don Selesky. But the Leafs had a man back in neutral ice, defenseman Ian Turnbull. Salming goes to the backhand off the board to Turnbull. Selesky comes out to meet him. Back to Salming. The Flyers content to stay right about the red line. Off to Neely. Tries to throw it into the zone. Spun around nicely by Selesky. Off to Kinderchuk. Stick handling for Philadelphia. Still with the puck. And ragging it. And good move by Kinderchuk. Has Ian Turnbull to beat, but it's flicked off his stick. Selesky gets it back to Jimmy Watson for Philadelphia. Off to Bob Daly. Bob Kelly will be out in a minute. The Flyers starting to become a bit aggressive here. Off Pat Boutette goes to Don Selesky in the Leaf zone. 2-line past the call. Or offside. What is it, Bob?
I think it's offside at the blue line. The pass did hit Pat Boutette of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it just delayed it enough so that Selesky breaking on the left side preceded the puck into the Toronto defensive zone, and the offside was a call. There we see Bob Kelly on our screen there. He's got 56 seconds left in his 2-minute penalty for charging. Number 9, one of the best years ever for Bob Kelly.
Career high. Darryl Sittler and Rick McLeish will take the draw. And it's knocked down by Tiger Williams to Salming. Off to Lanny McDonald. Goes off the boards. McLeish gets a piece of it. Comes free to neutral ice to Rick LaPointe. Right back in on goaltender Palmateer. Gets wood on it. Off the glass. Off to Ian Turnbull. McLeish deep for Philadelphia. Off to Sittler. Has McDonald on the right wing. Probably will drop it off if he decides to throw it in front. Fanning on it. Here comes Turnbull. Shot. Partially deflected. Can McLeish get a piece of it? No, he can't. Sittler right there. LaPointe for Philadelphia. Finally, it's McLeish looking for the handle. Off the dasher boards and deep into the Leaf zone. Woo, Bob.
Oh, if they could only have found the handle there. Both Ricky McLeish had a good chance at a breakaway, and then when the puck did come back, he missed it. Moose Dupont had a good chance to pick the puck up, but it was bouncing away.
Sittler tries to move around Dupont, and it is over the blue line. Turnbull takes it in, icing the call. Kelly will be out in 10 seconds. Offside the call. Might have said icing on that. No shots on goal, although it looked like they were going to pump up their 4th one, Bob.
I think so. There was a good chance. There was a good play in front on the part of the Flyers by blocking that open shot. Philadelphia, that could kill Philadelphia is the penalties. You know, when you're trying to play catch-up hockey, you've got to be at man power, full manpower, or at manpower advantage. But when you're playing a man short, that really puts a clampers on your offensive drive.
Bob Kelly out of the penalty box now, almost collides with Ross Lonsbury, heads to the bench, giving way to Reggie Leach. The Leafs, Jim McKenney onto the stick of Joe Watson, right back into the Leaf zone. Palmateer gets wood on it to defenseman Mike Pelech. Throws it into the slot, knocked down by center iceman George Ferguson. 11:25 to go here in the second period. The Leafs throw it in on goaltender Bernie Perrott. He drops it off for defenseman Tom Bladen. Good stick handling by Bladen. Drops it, head manning it anyway to Leach. Onto the stick of Bob Clark, takes it over the line, tries to circle away from trouble out to the left wing. Joe Watson shot, knocked down by winger McKinney. Headman's it too far. Bladen can't find the handle, picked off nicely by Earl Thompson. Bladen right there and rides off George Ferguson. It comes free to Bill Barber. The Flyers flying 3-on-3. Headman's it to Bob Clark, over the line to Reggie Leach. Leach tees it up. Instead drops it off to Clark. Poke check by Carlisle out in front, and the back-checking center iceman Ferguson has it and gets the neutral ice. Throws it into the Philadelphia zone. The Leafs make a wholesale line change. Joe Watson looks up to left winger Billy Barber, has it in the face-off circle, 10:35 and counting. Backhands it to Bob Clark. Backhands in turn to Barber. Can he see Leach? No, he doesn't. It's picked off by Pat Boutette. Right back into the seats. We'll have a face-off in neutral ice.
Philadelphia, when they're breaking.
Stan Weir taking the draw with Paul Holmgren now playing center ice position for Philadelphia. Turnbull off the boards and on goaltender Bernie Perrant. Both teams have shot but 10 shots officially on goal. The Leafs held to just 1 in this period. Philadelphia just 3. Bob Daly throws it into the zone. Hustling in for it is winger Neely. Off to Boutette, but it comes free to Salming. Knocks down the rolling puck, but he's coming 2-on-2. A 75-footer. Easy glove save for Perrant. And sticks it off to Jimmy Watson. Watson tries to circle away. Good back checking by Stan Weir, and Jimmy Watson drops it off for Bob Daly. Daly with Weir all over him goes wing to wing to Jimmy Watson. Takes a hard carom, and Jim Watson pulls it back to Bob Daly. At the blue line, moves right around Salming. Still stick handles for Philadelphia. Shot, the Holmgren can't get a stick down. Comes back to the point. Jimmy Watson goes to the backhand. Off for Bob Daly, who's trapped deep. Kelly is playing his position. Kelly and Boutette hustling for the puck. Boutette gets a piece of it, comes free to neutral ice.
That's really tough when you get a team and you're trying to sit up in the zone and all they do is dump it out. It's very tough for a team to try and play catch-up hockey, which the Flyers have to do so far this game. We have some scores in from out of town. New York Islanders have taken a 2-0 lead on Buffalo. Billy Harris putting the Islanders up by 2 goals. And at the end of one, Montreal is in front of St. Louis by the tune of 4-1. There we see one of the cameramen that are employed here by our Prism staff in the sin bin, looking out over the play.
You may have seen the score on the board. LA 2 and the Boston Bruins 6. Tiger Williams tries to throw it into the Philadelphia zone. Good play by Lapointe off to Moose DuPont. Can't find the handle. And in turn, it's Lanny McDonald taking it wide. Wrist shot. Perrant makes a save. Loose in front. Williams loose and kicked out by Perrant to Rick Lapointe. Oh, once again, the Flyers almost got caught. Dornhofer throws it into the Leaf zone. Carlisle back to pick it off. Moose DuPont intercepting for Philadelphia to Lonsbury and right back into the Leaf zone. Under 9 minutes into the period. Neither team has scored here in period number 2. Mike Pellick behind Palmateer. Off to Lanny McDonald. Looks for a breaking Darryl Sittler, and it will be 2 lines as soon as he touches the puck. And that's the call coming back into the Leaf zone.
Toronto is playing this gambling type effort by Philadelphia very well. They're just dumping that puck out, hoping that their forwards are.
Joe Watson in on Mike Palmateer, takes a bounce right onto the stick of defenseman Ian Turnbull, and the puck is rolling deep into the Philadelphia zone. Icing is waved off. Perrant puts it onto the stick of Joe Watson. Backhands it to Billy Barber, tries to get it to Clark and does. Looks for a breaking Tom Bladen and Leach on the right wing. Clark even fans on it, then finally into the Leaf zone. Palmateer for Salming, around the boards for Earl Thompson. Clark right there for Philadelphia, tries to dig it free. In comes Tom Bladen. He tees it up, partially deflected, knocked down beautifully by Salming. The Leafs can come 3-on-2. Thompson with Ferguson breaking for the goal mouth. Wrist shot. Perrant makes a save. Loose in front, and where is the puck? Perrant didn't see it. It's in his paddy.
Good play on the part of
Exactly 8 minutes to go in the period. Back to Pellick. His shot winding up, and Perrant, I'm not sure, was screened on that one, but it comes free to Harvey Bennett. Pulls it away from Boutette. Off the boards to defenseman Jimmy Watson. Look for breaking Kindrachuk, and Carlisle makes a good play. Bob Daly goes to the backhand. Into the Leaf zone. The foot race is on. Carlisle and Kindrachuk for Philadelphia. In against the boards. In comes Harvey Too Tall Bennett. Boutette right there. Looks for Daly out in front. Tries to get it to Kindrachuk. Good play by Carlisle to Boutette and drops it off for Stan Weir. Stan Weir goes wing to wing to defenseman Mike Pellick. Spun around nicely by the check of Bob Daly. Daly right at the red line. Lofts it ahead to Kindrachuk. He picks it free. Tripped up, and a penalty coming up here. The Flyers finally will get the manpower advantage. Trip will be the call.
Pretty sure.
Pack it into the third period. Comes back to Bob Daly. Daly goes wing to Billy Barber at the left point. Fakes the shot, comes back to Bob Daly through a screen. There is Rick McLeish and the Flyers. Good play by Barber, but it's Lanny McDonald. Lanny McDonald starts the rag and decides to go to the backhand. Philadelphia taking chances even on the power play, Bobby.
Well, they have to here, Hugh. 7 minutes remaining in the second period. They got to get a goal. They have to get one fast. It'd be pretty tough to go into the third period 3 goals down, and it's a lot easier.
Here's the count. Daly shot. Oh, it whistled wide. Can Leach keep it in? Yes, he can. Looks for McLeish at the right point. Drops it off for Billy Barber. Jumps over his stick. Salming can't get it out. Back to Billy Barber. Throws across to McLeish. Shot, score! Bob Daly took down Palmateer, and here comes Palmateer. And he's sent back into the crease.
The big thing happens there is number 2 Ian Turnbull, and trying to get big number 2, his counterpart Bob Daly, out of the way of Mike Palmateer so they can see it. Check the Flyers forward right into the goalie. And believe me,
McLeish faked the shot. Palmateer was at his mercy, and he put it in for his first goal, his 29th in National Hockey League Stanley Cup action. The Flyers cut it to 3-1. And we have a little skirmish against the boards. Rick McLeish
trying to muster.
Into the Leaf zone, hustling for it is Carlisle with Big Paul Holmgren in for Philadelphia. Tries to take Carlisle off the puck. There is Don Selesky. Holmgren can't get a stick down. There's Bob Kelly for Philadelphia. Takes it into the corner, throws it out in front. Selesky fans. Here comes the Leafs 3-on-2. Off to Earl Thompson. Tries to take it wide to McKenny. And it goes off the boards. Knocked down by Kelly. He'll head up the left wing and does. Right back into the Leaf zone. Hustle on the part of Philadelphia. Kept in by the Hound. Bob Kelly goes into the corner to Selesky. Hustling forward is Joe Watson and the Leafs. George Ferguson throws it back into the Philadelphia zone. Bladen takes it away right in front of goaltender Bernie Perrant. Stick handling for Philadelphia. McLeish is flying down the right wing. Onside Philadelphia. McLeish going for the puck. Pelech rides him off. There is Bob Kelly trying to dig it free. Gets it back to McLeish. To Ferguson. Kept in nicely by Joe Watson. There's Kelly. There's Watson for Philadelphia. They poke at it. Carlisle. Finally, it's around the boards. Watson in for Philadelphia. Kelly for Philadelphia. McLeish breaks for the goal mouth. Joe Watson on the turnaround. Comes back to the point. And Gary Dornhofer can't keep it in the Leaf zone. Rick LaPointe with everybody on side. Tries to throw it in. The Leafs intercept. Stood up nicely by Joe Watson, but Carlisle hustling all the way. Flips it into the Philadelphia zone. Off to Ross Lonsbury down the left wing. Dornhofer screens. Throws it in on Palmateer. He gloves it and drops it off for Boreas Salming. In comes McLeish. Dornhofer keeps it in the Leaf zone. In on goaltender Palmateer, but Salming throws it back to neutral ice. Knocked down by Moose DuPont. 5 minutes to go in the period. Good pressure by Philadelphia.
High stick the call there as defenseman Moose DuPont tried to flip it in there. Number 2 Ian Turnbull reached up, knocked the puck down, and couldn't. Went to his Toronto teammate, number 3 Bob Neely, and that constitutes a stoppage of play, and the faceoff will be.
You feel the pressure coming alive. Moose DuPont retreats back to the neutral ice area. Is on the off wing, ridden off by Bob Neely. In comes Bob Clark, looks for lead, shot! Knocked down and whistled wide. Barber had a chance to cut it to a 1-goal game. The puck is sent deep into the Philadelphia zone. Icing is waved off. And it's Rick LaPointe dropping it off for Moose DuPont. Looks up to Bob Clark on the left wing, overskates, but gets it back to Clark. Drops it off for Barber. The Flyers coming 3-on-3. Leach can't find the handle. Instead, it's Pat Boutet. Does a nice backhand job to Boreas Salming. Back to Boutet. Leaves 3-on-2 as Moose DuPont went for the body, and it's Bill Barber back checking for Philadelphia. Gets it to Clark. He holds and tries the stick handle, and does. Takes it back into the Philadelphia zone. Flyers have exactly 4 minutes to go in the period. It's 3 for Toronto, 1 for Philadelphia. Bill Barber gets back to the point. Clark throws it in off the glass. Going for it as Barber has Daly free at the right point. Instead, backhands it to Clark. Clark looks for Leach. Leach hustling for the puck. Ridden off. Tries to get it to Barber. Daly keeps it in the zone. Tees it up, and it whistles high. Palmateer got glove on it. Jimmy Watson for Philadelphia. Knocked down by Salming. In turn, knocked down by Jimmy Watson. Good hustle by the defenseman, who's deep in the Leaf zone. Salming tries to clear the count. Bob Daly throws it hard off the glass. Hustling for it is Barber. Getting a piece of it was Boreas Salming. Icing again will be waved off. Boy, you can just feel the Flyers surge as it is. Jimmy Watson with Darryl Sittler checking for the Leafs. Off to Rick McLeish. Tiger Williams takes a run at McLeish. Intercepted by Lanny McDonald. 2-on-2. Wrist shot. Perrant got a piece of it. Almost went home. Jimmy Watson off the board. Tiger Williams winds up. That's off the glass. Harvey Bennett knocks down the rolling puck. The Flyers come out, and it's not Down and intercepted by Harvey Bennett. Takes it over the line, drops it for Rick McLeish. Throws it in on Palmateer, and he decides to hang on.
Very wise.
In on Palmateer, didn't get anything on it. Tommy Bladen hustling for the puck for Philadelphia. Gets by Tiger Williams, gets the stick down. Still digging for Philadelphia. We have a face-off in the Leafs, off nicely by Sittler. Tiger Williams right there and Paul Holmgren, but it's dug out. Bladen can't keep it in the Leaf zone. Backhands it off the board to Holmgren. In turn, flicks it back into the Leaf zone. 2:35 and counting. Palmateer to Carlisle. Bennett takes a run at Carlisle. In comes Rick McLeish. Sittler off the boards, and it is Paul Holmgren unable to keep it in the Philadelphia zone. Nicely off to Joe Watson. Everybody onside, but Mike Pelech intercepts for the Leafs. Knocked down by Tom Bladen. Off to Rick McLeish for Philadelphia. Into the corner. Hustling for it is Holmgren. Tiger Williams gets there first. Tries to ride Williams off. Carlisle intercepts for the Leafs. In is McLeish for Philadelphia. In comes Holmgren trying to throw the body in, and finally 3 people on top of the puck. Face-off in the Leaf zone. Not the best of times for Thomas to come into the game, but if the Leafs for the next 2 minutes can keep the puck out of the Philadelphia zone, once again the icing will be waved off. They don't have a chance to get icing called. Rick LaPointe has the puck for Philadelphia, spots Kindrachuk, pulls it back and loses control. And down goes Errol Thompson, no penalty called there. And Philadelphia's defenseman Moose Dupont throws it in and continues on to the puck. Kindrachuk is in the slot, Salming right there, out front, whistled wide. Hustling is Lansbury for Philadelphia. And the face-off will be right on the breakaway, or near breakaway, was left winger Thompson. As Moose Dupont again with Lansbury breaking, stick save, and Thomas holds on. First shot. Okay, it's Clark to take the draw with Stan Weir. In comes Bob Daly, flicks it into the corner. Mike Pelech goes back off the boards. Leach beats Neely to it, and Clark can't find the handle. It is Tom Bladen and Boutet in a foot race. Bladen gets stick, and it goes into the corner. The icing is waved off. Hustling back, Bob Clark for Philadelphia. Drops it for Barber. Barber moves around Carlisle with Leach trailing. Over the line, rolling puck. Whistles wide. Here comes the count, Bob Daly. He throws it into the corner. Leach can't get a stick down. Barber does. Off goes the post, and a good play there by either goaltender Thomas or defenseman Pelech.
I think it's Pelech. He's the one that had Clark all tied up in front of the net there and drove him into the goal post, and the post came off, or the goal itself came off the post, and it's stopped the play. And believe me,
you can't score with it off the pipe.
No,
right?
and anytime that your momentum's starting to go and then that whistle blows, it means you have to start all over again. And the more whistles you go, the more frustrating it gets for the team that is trying to get that offensive momentum going. Here it is right here, as you see Clark taking both. It was Clark that took Pelech and the goaltender Thomas into the net, rather than the other way around.
Right. Okay, Bob Clark will take the draw. As you look at goaltender Wayne Thomas, we have 65 seconds to go in the second period. The Flyers trailing 3-1, and they would certainly like to crank one home here. Clark taking the draw with Sittler. Comes back to Leach. Wrist shot. Oh, glove save by Thomas. Not really sure if that was... John D'Amico to drop the puck between Darryl Sittler and Bob Clark, and Sittler is tossed out. In comes Lanny McDonald. Right-handed stick against the left-handed Bob Clark, so Daly moves up. Into the corner, knocked down by Ian Turnbull, and it's flicked out to neutral ice. Knocked down by defenseman Rick LaPointe, off the board to Barberson. Back into the Philadelphia zone, and I guess maybe it's going to be a two-line call, and the way skates Rick LaPointe. That's what it is. Where are the Leafs? We've said this about 14 different times. Comes free to Rick LaPointe. Off to Reggie Leach. Kept in the zone nicely by Tiger Williams, but skating away with the puck is Bob Daly. Wing to wing, knocked down, and it's offside the call as Bill Barber was trapped in the Leaf zone, as it was possibly even high stick by one of the Leaf defensemen. Seconds to go. Knocked down in neutral ice, where it is Bladen. Spun around by Sittler, goes to the backhand of Moose Dupont. He'll start the rush. Gets it off to Bill Barber. Headmans to Leach, knocked down beautifully by Ian Turnbull. Barber has to retreat. Waits till Leach gets onside. Back into the Leaf zone, Lanny McDonald. Backhands the puck for Darryl Sittler. Icing is waved off. Tom Bladen back into the Philadelphia zone. 20 seconds to go. Looks for McDonald, drops it off. Kept in by Tiger Williams. Drops it off for Lanny McDonald. Clark forechecking, back checking for Philadelphia. It's beneath those two skaters inside the face-off circle. Comes back to Thompson. Shot partially deflected by Gary Dornhofer. Glove saved by Bernie Perrant. Gets it off for McLeish. 6 seconds to go in the period. And the Flyers probably won't even get a shot on goal. Jimmy Watson, 160-foot bouncer in on Thomas. And even if it had gone home, it wouldn't have counted because the blue light went on. So at the end of 40 minutes of play, the Flyers have at least cut the margin to 2 goals. and it is 3-1 after 2 periods of play. As you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs coming up the runway here at the Spectrum, Captain Darryl Sittler, Jim McKenney, Lanny McDonald. Flyers with 18 shots on goal, and the visiting Leafs with 7 for a 2-period, or at the moment, 2-period total, 16-18. The Flyers getting the lone goal of the period on a power play as Carlisle was off for tripping at the 12:41 mark. Rick McLeish getting his 29th career Stanley Cup goal, and set up by Billy Barber and Reg Leach, and Philadelphia cut the count to 3-1. We talked to the Flyers coach Mike Nicoluk after first period of play, and so the Flyers certainly had no legs at all, and would indicate that they finally found their legs in the second period and pumped home a goal to give Philadelphia its lone goal of the period. And after 40 minutes of play, it's the Philadelphia Flyers trailing the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1. Not a heck of a lot to talk about as far as penalties concerned. A strange call against Borje Salming. He was sent off 2 minutes for a delay of game at the 3:33 mark. Philadelphia couldn't pump it home and did not take advantage of that situation. And Bob Kelly was sent to the penalty box 2 minutes for charging at the 6:14 mark, and the Leafs couldn't connect. In fact, went into a fairly conservative shell. And then with Carlisle off at the 12:41 mark, Rick McLeish breaking the Snyder and giving Philadelphia its first goal of the game after Sittler, Williams, and Thompson had scored in the first period. And if we do have McLeish's goal, we'd like to show it to you as Billy Barber at the left point and Reggie Leach set up Rick McLeish's 29th career goal. Here it comes. McLeish waited till Palmateer went down, lofted it over the sprawling 23-year-old goaltender, and gave Philadelphia a 3-1 game at the moment. Here you'll see it again. Billy Barber pulling it up. Bob Daly in front. McLeish holds for half a count, and then the puck is home, and Philadelphia scores its first goal. That came at the 13:25 mark. So far, it's been the kind of game to a degree that we expected in a close checking game, but certainly not anticipating the Leafs jumping out to a 3-1 lead. 3-0 lead, and then Philadelphia getting the lone goal of the second period to cut that margin to 3-1. So Bob Taylor is downstairs with a couple special guests, so let's cut downstairs to Bob Taylor and his guests between the second and third period. Bobby, it's yours.
Thanks very much, Hugh. And, of course, my guests in between the second and third period. To my left here is Milt Dunnell, the fine columnist for the Toronto Star. And to my right, Gary Ronberg, of course, who writes for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And, gentlemen, I think, to be in all honesty, that it has to be somewhat of a surprise to see Toronto with a 3-1 lead going into the third period against Philadelphia. And, Mr. Dunnell, I think, being that you followed Toronto all the time, it has to be somewhat of a surprise to you also.
I think that's it's fair to say that. After all, this club has won only twice in the last 5 years in this rink. So when you come in the playoffs, for which the Philadelphia team always is ready, you have to feel that it is a surprise. But I have to say this. I think possibly the Philadelphia team is the victim of its own success tonight, because having won their division, which every person wants, they were idle. While the Toronto team has been scrapping for everything it can get, as you know. And in the first period, I think that showed. I never saw the Philadelphia club as dull as it was in that first period, whereas the Toronto team was coming right off that win in Pittsburgh. And I think that was the story of the first period.
Toronto has been noted back in the days of Punch Imlach, and of course when they won up the string of Stanley Cups, of being a strong defensive hockey club. And I thought in the first two periods anyway that Toronto played their positions very well. They were well disciplined, something that the Flyers were really noted for throughout these last 3 years, and which brought them 2 Stanley Cups. Is that the style of play that Toronto's exhibited all year, or is it just something that Red Kelly decided that they have to go in the playoffs to win?
Well, I think that first of all, you must understand this. The Toronto club is a very unpredictable club. You never know what to expect from this Leaf club. They will go out and win a big game on the road, and then they'll come right home and blow it in their own rink. As a matter of fact, I think their record in their own rink in their last 11 games is something like 3 wins in the 11 games. And this included a loss to Pittsburgh. After winning in Pittsburgh, they went right back home, and everybody was expecting, well, the series is over, so what? They blow the game in Toronto. So, A, it's an unpredictable club. B, Defensively, and I'm speaking about back of the blue line, this is a very shallow club. If you notice, they're going with 4 men tonight, and 2 of those 4 are players who were brought up from Dallas in the Central League. Now, as for positional hockey, obviously the forwards have to play positional hockey when they've had that kind of shallowness on their defense. And in fairness, I think they have played that type of hockey all year because they had to. This club is not deep on the bench.
Gary, Toronto being an unpredictable club, Philadelphia, I think the big knock against them so far is that they're so predictable, and the fact that Freddie Shero's system is now being found out, so to speak, from everybody in the league, and yet they still win. But tonight they seemed that they had no system at all in the first period. Definitely, they were all over the ice. Freddie came up with a new quirk in the offensive style of the Flyers for the playoffs. Do you think that this is the problem with them tonight, that they're trying to adjust to this style?
I don't know, Bobby. It's hard to say, but as Milt was referring to the Leafs being unpredictable, I think it's very important that the point he made about that they had played Saturday night, the Flyers I found to be extremely tentative, cautious, and tight in that first period. In fact, everything they did seemed to backfire on them, and Bernie was, he seemed to be shaky. The rebounds were coming out. This very well could be because of the long layoff, but at the same time, I found them growing frustrated early in the second period, trying to stick handle out of their own zone. And as if you've seen the club as much as we have, that is a sign of when the Flyers are frustrated when the defensemen try and bring it out themselves instead of moving it up, head-manning the puck, which is what the whole system is based upon.
Near the end of the game there, or pardon me, the end of the second period, Mike Palmateer received an injury, and of course we couldn't see too much of the fact that what happened. We thought for Hugh Gann and I, at the vantage point that we were, it might have been his thumb, and then we saw Joe Skroll looking at his eye. He might have lost a contact lens. Palmateer, a newcomer to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it seemed like when he was brought up from the farm club in Dallas that Toronto started to take off. They were struggling at the first. Could it be that Wayne Thomas had that one good year and maybe has gone back to being maybe a mediocre goalie? Who knows? Is it the fact that the team plays better in front of Palmateer, or is it the fact that he's just, like everybody has, when you come up as a rookie, you're going to impress everybody, and he just has the luck of a beginner?
Well, now, I think it's important to retrace just a little bit what has happened as regards goaltending in Toronto. As you know, Wayne Thomas had a great year last year with the Leafs, and of course, the expectation was that this season he would go right on from there. Now, for some reason, Thomas got away to a very bad start. And McRae was tried very briefly, 2 games he played, and that didn't work. So in desperation, actually, Palmateer, who had absolutely no big league experience, was brought up from Dallas. And immediately he was a success. I mean, he was more than a success, he was a sensation. But as inevitably happens, the night came when the roof fell in, and of course Thomas made his reappearance. Now, since then, they have taken turns at being uncertain. I mean, Thomas, for example, much to everyone's surprise, got the call to play the first playoff game with the Penguins in Pittsburgh. And the reason was that the records showed that his games in Pittsburgh had been among his better games. So that night he came up with an absolutely sensational game. There was no question. Now, he came back to Toronto for the second game of the season, and I think it's not unfair to him to say that he didn't have a good game, and they blew that game. So now they go back to Palmateer, and Palmateer played the third game in Pittsburgh, which they won right in Pittsburgh, and he was a standout. But it is not true that in recent games either one of these players, these goaltenders, has been outstanding. But tonight, I think that you would have to say that Palmateer was doing excellent, very well anyhow. And now the heat is on Thomas, and I can't think of any worse position except possibly a pinch hitter coming to the plate with the bases loaded than putting a man in cold into that net in a playoff game. This is a very unenviable position.
Gary, on the other hand, Palmateer playing very well the first 2 periods before his what we might think is an injury or whatever, anything that caused him to come out of the game. Bernie, on the other hand, being somewhat shaky. Should Freddie make a goaltending change on the part of the Flyers?
Oh, I don't think so, Bobby. I think that Bernie, we were talking just briefly before the game, when Bernie is working, when he's under fire, like we never forget the game in Montreal when he saw 55 shots, Bernie tends to think a little bit, and when the action's coming as fast and furious as it can when you're playing the Canadians, that seems to bring up the best in Bernie, as it did down in Atlanta in the final game of the regular season when he saw 44 shots. I didn't see him when he was as great as everyone tells me he is, but he has those moments, and they seem to be when the action is hot and furious around him.
Gary, the Flyers, of course, all year long, everybody's been telling them that they have to beat Montreal to prove that they're the best team again. They, of course, didn't do very well in the series with Montreal this year. In fact, they did terrible. Would it be that they are probably pointing towards that ultimate showdown, thinking and maybe overlooking a team such as Toronto?
Well, this was possible. I think it happened midway through the season, particularly, Bobby. In fact, I wrote a column on it. Was the fact that I said that for the time being, the Flyers were going to have to prove they were the second-best team in hockey and leave the best team, which at the time was the Canadians, until a possible matchup in May. And not that the column had anything to do with it, but when they were whomped up there good, they seemed to put things back together, and down the stretch they were a very solid hockey team. For whatever reasons, there's been a lot mentioned why it was, but their game against the Islanders here was a definite masterpiece, and as a result, that's why I would have to say the first period tonight, with the momentum they had going for them, I would just have to believe that it would have been that week layoff. It's hard to maintain momentum when you're practicing against one another.
Mr. Dennell, how really important is momentum? I know that, like Gary said, we're going to, with the week layoff, Flyers were playing extremely well, and I noticed myself, it seemed like they were getting back to that 1974 form where they were a very well-disciplined team, and they had the patience to wait and to wait for the breaks. Momentum is used an awful lot in sports, particularly in hockey. Is it overrated, or is it really the truth that once you have that momentum that you have to keep it going, or with a small layoff like that, would that happily really hurt the team?
Well, I think it depends on the team, of course. I think if it's a young team, momentum is especially important because you've got young legs. Those players don't tire easily. I think success spurs on and is an inducement to further success. Their success in Pittsburgh undoubtedly has inspired them. On the other hand, if you have an old team, I doubt that the momentum is that important. I think it's more important perhaps that you rest your older players, especially if you have injuries, and give them a chance to heal. So in the case of the Leafs, I think the momentum is all important. If they were an older club, I would say it would be less important.
Toronto has really built their team on draft picks in the last 3 or 4 years. Of course, since 1972, the last 5 number 1 picks, I believe, are with Toronto right now. The scouting system is very important. Right now, with the Ontario Hockey Association just about to get into their playoffs, as the National League is there any really outstanding up-and-coming juniors that you can think of offhand that would be the apple of any general manager's eye?
There are, and I'm going by the reports that the scouts give me. The scouts tell me, the ones to whom I've talked, that the crop of graduating juniors this year will be one of the finest in a good many years. And I think every club in hockey, and that, of course, would apply to the other league as well, I'm sure would welcome that, because I think the last couple of years the pickings have been rather lean. But the scouts tell me that both in Eastern Canada and Western Canada there are some outstanding players.
Gary, Flyers have really had to trade for younger players, giving up inspirational players to get the likes of a talented Bob Daly, a Rick LaPointe, whose future unfolds in front of him. He's very, very young. Do you think that they gave away a possible, a real definite shot at the Cup this year in order to build on the future, or do you think that because of the trades, or even that the talent of a LaPointe or a Daly is strong enough to carry them to a good shot at the title?
I think, Bobby, when they're playing their game, as we've seen them play at sporadic times this year, that any lapses that would be made by those two players could be compensated for. Granted, it's a lot of pressure. It's a new experience for them, and you'll have to understand that they would have the jitters under circumstances like this. But also, you remember on the Flyers' first goal tonight, the man who was in front was Daly. He carried the puck in, went straight in front and occupied Turnbull, I think it was, and that, for some reason, I don't know what happened to Palmatier on the play, but McLeish was free to take the wide swing and put it in. So I think they're going to show the brilliance at times that will compensate for their errors.
Quickly now, just as the teams are coming back on the ice, Gary, how far and who is going to be the eventual winner in this series? I'm going to put you on the limb.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because I think Milt would know more about that because he would see, he knows what the Leafs are capable of doing under certain circumstances. I think the Flyers will return to the game that has proved beneficial for them in the past, but I think a lot of it depends upon how consistent Toronto's going to be.
You could make a great politician, Gary. You didn't even give me an answer. Mr. Dunnell, I'm going to pose the same question to you. How far the series will go, and who do you think the eventual winner will be?
In view of what's happening tonight, I think it will go 6, but I would still have to take the Flyers.
All right, I want to thank you very much, both of you, for appearing with me here on Prism, and for your appearance here. We got a lovely gift from the English Leather people, and now that both teams are back on the ice, we're going to put it right back up to Hugh Gannon.
Here in period number 3. Boreas Alming takes it out the stick of goaltender Thomas around the boards for McKenny. Jimmy Watson keeps it in the Philadelphia zone. Dornhofer takes the shot, goes to the backhand, right under the stick of McKenny. That was a super opportunity there, but Dornhofer, an unselfish player as he is, gave it away. Daly off the boards, comes free to neutral ice, knocked down by Turnbull, off to Boreas Alming. Into the Philadelphia zone, gloved nicely by Big Bob Daly. Flyers coming 3-on-3 to McLeish onside. Daly breaking through the goal mouth, shot! Thomas makes a great save and hangs on. McLeish put the count in home, but he couldn't loft it over the sprawling goaltender Wayne Thomas, and it's still 3-1. Here it comes again. McLeish off the board, saw Daly breaking, right onto his stick. Didn't have much chance to tee it up. Thomas cut down most of the goal mouth and hung on. 37 seconds into the third period, and we'll refrain, hopefully, from calling it the final period because, as Flyer fans know, 2 goals by the Flyers will send this thing into sudden victory overtime. Clark and Sittler, back to Barber, tries to backhand it to Clark, read nicely by Carlisle. DuPont off the boards, around the board, hustling for it, Tiger Williams and LaPointe. Up in the air, Pellick got a glove on it, intercepted by Lanny McDonald. He lost it out to the breaking Tiger Williams, falls over his glove, moves DuPont under the stick of Bob Clark to a breaking Bill Barber, leaves it go for Rick LaPointe, backhands it into the Leaf zone. Hustling back for it, Randy Carlisle. Bob Clark almost controls. Around the board, intercepted by Barber. Gets it to Clark. Looks back to the point. DuPont shot through a screen. Thomas gets stick on it. Into the corner. Can't find the handle. Dug out. LaPointe will keep it in the Leaf zone. Comes back to DuPont. But DuPont in a defensive stance. Off to Billy Barber. Clark breaks for the goal mouth. Broken stick. Lanny McDonald. Clark right there. And finally, it is Andy Van Helleman saying, let's have a face-off in the Leaf zone. For breaking Bob Neely, they call it onside, one-on-one with Tom Bladen, and loses control on a poke check by Bladen. Throws it back into the Philadelphia zone. There is Bladen, tries a stick handle for Philadelphia. Pulls up from the check of Stan Weir. Back to Bladen. Flyers Tom Bladen looks for Joe Watson, has Kindrachuk in center ice position. Watson with puck for Philadelphia. Throws it into the corner. Kindrachuk hustling for it, but Neely beats him to it. Spins around, intercepted, knocked down by Leach. Looks for Bob Kelly. Leach with the puck, stick handles for Philadelphia. Fakes dropping it back to the point. Watson through a screen. Comes off to Kindrachuk. Has Leach in the slot. Instead, throws it in front. Whistles wide. Joe Watson's going to tee it up. Through a screen to Reggie Leach. Looks for the Bob Kelly. Parked in front. Kelly gets foot on it. Finally, it is stopped and believed held on by goaltender Wayne Thomas.
And believe me, that action in front of the Toronto net, which we affectionately know as the pit, is hot and furious. Bob Kelly standing his ground, and of course defenseman number 2 Ian Turnbull and number 21 Boris Salming trying vainly to move the big hound out of the way and to let their goaltender Wayne Thomas see the shot.
We have 3 people who have not been on the ice tonight for the visiting Leafs. Bruce Boudreau, a center iceman. Elaine Belanger, a right
Season, but they're spelling off the both youngsters.
Carlisle around the board. Bob Daly can't keep it in. The foot race is on with Jimmy Watson for Philadelphia, getting lumber on it. Off the boards to Don Selesky. Stick handles at center ice. The Leafs have 4 people right across the blue line, but Selesky makes a good effort. Back to Daly. Backed it off the boards for Selesky. tries to hunt down the puck, ridden off nicely by Pelech, goes to McLeish. McLeish comes back to Jimmy Watson, throws it into the corner, hustling forward is Harvey Bennett, gets stick on it, circles away, looks for McLeish, pulls back to the point. The count, Bob Daly through a screen, deflected, maybe off Selesky's. Jimmy Watson shot, hit the pipe. Daly hustling for the puck along with Earl Thompson. Kept in the zone nicely by Jimmy Watson. Tries to drop it into the corner. Bennett going for it with Pelech. Selesky right there from Philadelphia. The puck is free, off to Ferguson. The Leafs can come 2-on-2. Off to Earl Thompson. Thompson has Daly to beat. Perrant, almost put that one home.
That one just came off Bernie's glove and dangerously rolled by the wide side of the net.
Jimmy Watson with the puck for Philadelphia over the blue line, still in the Philadelphia zone. Good play by McLeish. It is delayed offside. Comes to Lanny McDonald. Flyers in a very slow line change. McDonald tries to take LaPointe wide and throws it into the corner, where it's Jimmy Watson with the puck for Philadelphia. Quickly off the boards to Billy Barber. Can't find the handle, and in turn backhands it to Jimmy Watson. Watson with the puck and loses Sittler right there. Jimmy tries to dig it out, poked away. Sittler controls, falling down is Barber, LaPointe, and it goes right on the Paul Holmgren stick. Flyers will have to do it 3-on-3. Still in the Leaf zone, but a good play by Barber to control for Philadelphia. Has Clark free in the off wing. Looks for Holmgren. Holds. Comes back to the point. Onto the stick of DuPont. Shot. Partially deflected. Throws it off the boards to Bill Barber. Nobody at that right point. Barber to Holmgren in front. Down goes Thomas, and he hangs on.
Believe me, what a good play by Wayne Thomas there with an awful lot of beef trying to park on his doorstep. Paul Holmgren standing right there. Moose Duke both for Toronto. An awful lot of beef hanging on that doorstep, and the goaltender just grabbed onto it and held on. Did you see there?
Clark looking for the stick, and Neely can't free it out. Kept in by Paul Holmgren. He tees it up, partially deflected by Barber, and it is Moose DuPont having to wait till the Flyers get onside. Throws it right back into the Leaf zone. We have played 4.5 minutes here in the third period, and the Flyers are down by 2 goals. Carlisle with Clark. We're checking deep to Neely. Knocked in the zone nicely by LaPointe. Tries to throw it out in front. Carlisle clears, and it comes deep into the Philadelphia zone. Icing is waved off again. Moose DuPont drops it off for Bob Clark. Right back to DuPont. Throws it into the zone. Knocked down, and it is Clark catching up to the puck at neutral ice. We're on Clark, and he throws it back into the Leaf zone and heads to the bench. Randy Carlisle pulls up behind Thomas and will start the rush. Goes off the boards too far for Neely, and it's the rifle. Reggie Leach for Philadelphia with the puck. Tries the stick handle. Takes it back behind Bernie Perrant. Drops it off for Tom Bladen. Goes wing to wing onto the stick of Joe Watson. Looks for Kelly on the left wing. Center ice. Reggie Leach, and a super poke check that time by Randy Carlisle.
That youngster played a very strong game on defense for Toronto.
Leach over the line. Rifle shot rising high off the glass. Caroms back to Joe Watson. Through a screen. And it goes into the seats. High stick on 5 minutes. Kindrachuk wins the draw. Knocked down by Thompson off the Salming. Kelly keeps it in the Leaf zone. Here goes Kindrachuk hustling for the goal now. Shot. Oh, and it went wide. Right through the crease. Kindrachuk beats Ferguson to the puck. Comes back to the point. Bladen shot. Falling down. Kelly can't get stick down. Knocked down. Coming up a turnaround. Loose in front. Leach poking away. And falling on the puck was defenseman Borja Salming. Face off in the Leaf zone.
The big thing that the Flyers are upset on is that Salming was down and pulled the puck under him, but referee Randy Van Hellemond couldn't see it with the position that he was in, and an excellent play by the Leaf.
Underneath, Lonsbury looks for Dornhofer. Thomas gets a piece of it. Dornhofer hustling, beats Williams to the puck, and Sittler moves around Bob Daly, but he spun around, and it's Jimmy Watson for Philadelphia. Everybody onside, comes right back into the Leaf zone. Thomas goes back off the boards to Tiger Williams. Takes it deep into the Leaf zone, around the boards for Lanny McDonald. In comes Jimmy Watson. Gets a piece of wood on it. Randy Carlisle kept in nicely by Lonsbury. McLeish right there with Carlisle. McLeish gets lumber on it, throws it out in front. Bob Daly closing, 30-footer. Oh, whistled wide. Jimmy Watson can't keep it in the Leaf zone, and what a bullet, Bob.
Oh, man, what an opportunity for Philadelphia to put this goal within reach at one. And Bob Daly just whistled that powerful drive wide.
Dornhofer to McLeish, has Lonsbury free in the left wing. Stick handles, fakes the shot. Wrist shot coming up. Getting lumber on it was Carlisle. Lonsbury takes Pelech off the puck. In comes McLeish. Right there, the puck is beneath him. Kicked free by Dornhofer to McLeish. Tries to go back to Dornhofer. Retreats behind goaltender Thomas. Throws it back to the left point. DuPont keeps it in the Leaf zone. Has to throw it up in the air. McLeish gets stick on it. Throws to Lonsbury. It's underneath, and it's flicked out. Falling down is Lanny McDonald. He throws it out the neutral ice. Everybody onside for Philadelphia. The count winds up. 70-footer. and getting a piece of it was Randy Carlisle. Off the boards for McDonald. Intercepted by Lansbury. Closing. Wrist shot. Getting a piece of it was Mike Pellick. Good play by defenseman Pellick. McDonald. LaPointe spinning around. Sittler over the line with Selesky right on him. Comes free to Bob Clark. 13 minutes to go in the period. Too hot for Harvey Too Tall Bennett. Lenny McDonald pumps it right back into the corner. Comes free to Don Selesky. The Flyers getting spun around. The fans not too happy at the moment. LaPointe to the red line. Into the zone. Knocked down. Moose DuPont with a puck for Philadelphia. Bennett now onside. Comes back into the Leaf zone. Salming with Bennett right there. Spun around by Moose DuPont. Oh. Flyers perhaps were a bit lucky on that one. Andy Van Helleman looking the other way. LaPointe off to Clark. Circles away, does a 180. Stan Weir forechecking for the Leafs. Clark with the puck. 17,000 coming alive. Clark throws it into the corner. Down goes Salming. Selesky hustling for the puck. Neely there, giving it away. In deep comes Clark. In comes Ian Turnbull. Against the boards. And finally Van Helleman says face-off.
You know, the big thing...
Now spinning around, getting away from Holmgren. Still with the puck. Throws it out to breaking George Ferguson. Comes deep into the Philadelphia zone. Joe Watson right there for the Flyers, and does a good stop and move for Philadelphia. Stick handling is Joe Watson. Gets to the red line, pumps it off the boards. Hustling forward is Billy Barber. Tries to beat McKenny to the puck. Spun around Holmgren. Gets it off. Sticks are a little high. Barber off the board for Holmgren. Can't get a stick down. Pellick goes to the backhand. Give away to Billy Barber. Can he turn around? Holds. Winds up. Oh, glove save, and finally it's off the pads of goaltender Thomas. Coming free to McKenny. The Leafs coming 2-on-2. Ferguson with the puck, pulls up, drops it off to McKenny, takes it into the corner, throws it out in front, and it's Bill Barber for Philadelphia. Off the Paul Holmgren. Backhands it to Reggie Leach. Has only Pellick to beat. Shot goes into the seats, face off in the Leaf zone.
6, St. Louis 1.
Bob Daly with the puck for Philadelphia. Tries to throw it in center, knocked down, and it's McLeish getting glove on it. Drops it off for Lonsbury, tries to stick handle it, turn around across the crease, but nobody there to kick it home. Lonsbury tries to ride Lenny McDonald off it, and he backhands it into the Philadelphia zone. Laurent drops it off for Bob Daly. He goes off the boards to Gary Dornhofer. Poke free again, backhanded. Oh, good glove save by Bernie Perrant, and a near giveaway by Philadelphia. Lonsbury tries to spot a breaking Rick McLeish into the zone. Spun around by Ian Turnbull. Looks for Lonsbury. Goes off the boards. Lonsbury hustling for the puck along with Lanny McDonald. Takes McDonald down. Dornhofer tries to dig it free, and we have a face-off in the Leaf zone.
That was a key save on the puck.
Bob Kelly for Philadelphia as Carlisle comes up with a puck. Moose DuPont can't keep it in. This will be the first icing, I believe, call against the Leafs since the first period. And it's touched by LaPointe, and the crowd roars its approval.
They're doing a good job of just dumping that puck out very softly, not hard enough to get that over the food.
Bob Kelly coming up with a backhand. Loose in front, and Selesky can't put it home as down went goaltender Thomas. Kelly on a turnaround. Selesky and Carlisle probably will be going off. Dual minors coming up here as it was maybe an Chuck going for the puck. Leach can't get it in. Boutet drops it off for Ian Turnbull. At the line with Ashby trailing over the line. Stick handling. Tees it up. Partially deflected off the stick of Moose DuPont. Comes free to Rick LaPointe. Avoids a poke check by Ashby, and it's LaPointe flying down the left wing. Headmans at the Kindrachuk over the line, closing on Thomas, and he's stripped up. Penalty here against Boreas Salming. That's what we talked about.
Off his two defensemen that he has left.
Oh, nobody at that left point as Bob Clark did win the draw. Comes free to Bill Barber. This is the key to the game, exactly the midway mark. Barber drops it off for Clark. Stick handles over the line, drops it off for Big Bob Daly. Daly waits, 40-footer, deflection, tap, whistles wide, knocked down by McLeish. He stick handles. On him, Ian Turnbull. Back to Bob Daly. Daly closing, back to Billy Barber. 35-footer to Daly. Wrist shot. Score! 3-2 game, Bobby.
That's a new hockey game now, believe me. Bob Daly throwing away that slap shot that he's been missing the net with all night. Put a blistering wrist shot to the left side of Wings Thomas on the glove side and put the Flyers within reach of 1 goal. 3-2 now, Philadelphia. 9 minutes, 33 seconds left to go in the game, and believe me, the Benham is going to start to shift now. There it is. There's the shot by Daly. Had all the time in the world. Wayne Thomas at his mercy. Picked the spot out low to the glove side and promptly put it home for a second Flyer goal, and now they grab it close to it. Philadelphia now be pulling out all stops to tie this game up.
Here come the Leafs, and that's Earl Thompson with George Ferguson. Winds it up, 50-footer, glove save. Perrant decides to, hang on, but it's kick free, and we have a face-off, and they did. Off to Lonsbury, back to Tommy Bladen, stick handling out of the zone to Lonsbury playing the off wing, but he drops it back for McLeish. McLeish wrist shot in on Thomas, takes the carom to Tom Bladen, the defenseman, takes it in deep, moves around Salming, who's back on the ice. Still stick handling for Philadelphia. Back to Lonsbury, Watson is free. 40-footer by Watson. Kick save by goaltender Wayne Thomas. Watson throws it off the boards to Tommy Bladen, and then hustles back. No, he stays at the slot. Bladen shot. Deflection penalty coming up here against Joe Watson. Happy situation for the next 20 seconds. Clark gets a piece of it, comes free to Borja Salming. Clark forechecking for Philadelphia. Mike Pelech drops it off to Borja Salming. Give this guy room, he'll do it to you 14 different ways. To Lanny McDonald, tries to move around Jimmy Watson. Ridden off, Clark moves around. Salming is taken down. Here comes the count, one-on-one with Mike Pelech to beat. 40-footer. It hit Pelech in the midsection. Darryl Sittler with the puck. Now it's 5 skaters to 4. Sittler will have to do it solo. Daly got a hunk of it, and he continues to pursue the puck, but leaves it go for Jimmy Watson.
And the big count is really playing well here. That long reach came in handy there when he just hooked that puck away from Darryl Sittler.
Daly again with the puck. Moves around Lanny McDonald. And finally it's Borja Salming coming up with the puck. Giving it away to Philadelphia's Jimmy Watson in a foot race with McDonald. Takes him right into the boards. Down goes McDonald. The Leafs try to come back to the point. There's Kindrachuk for Philadelphia. Widening out is Tiger Williams. Comes back to the left point. This Turnbull can fire. Whistled wide, knocked down, and it's Billy Barber looking for Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk will have to do it solo. Pulls away from Salming. Drops it off for Barber with Jimmy Watson trailing. Shot! Hit winger Lanny McDonald into the corner. Joe Watson will be out in 45 seconds. Watson off, giving way to DuPont. Selesky replaces Billy Barber. Good pressure by the Flyers despite being shorthanded. Ian Turnbull tries to move around Rick LaPointe. Deep into the corner. Throws it out in front. Turnbull, make that Williams. Partially deflected. And it's big Rick LaPointe for Philadelphia. Off the board. McDonald keeps it in. Goes to the backhand. Moves DuPont. Gloves it. Knocks it down. The Flyers coming out 3-on-3. DuPont with Selesky on the off wing. Stick handles wide. Tries to get a stick down. It's Lanny McDonald. Kept in by Kindrachuk. Williams comes away with the puck. Joe Watson will be out in 12 seconds. Dave Tiger Williams with Bob Clark on for Philadelphia. Throws it in on Perrant. Stick save off to Rick LaPointe. Joe Watson will be out in 5 seconds. 2-1. Here comes Watson. Both teams at equal strength. Joe Watson comes out of the penalty box. Stick handles. Knocked down is Stan Weir. Moves around Watson. Bob Clark on for Philadelphia. Wing to Randy Carlyle. With the puck. Carlyle, the defenseman. Shot coming up. Perrant makes the glove save and drops it off for Joe Watson. Pulls away from Boutet. 6 minutes to go. 3-2 hockey game. Joe Watson to Bob Kelly. Kept in the zone by the Leafs. Giveaway. Boutet. The Neely shot. Partially deflected by Joe Watson. Clark gloves it and drops it off for Don Selesky. Kelly flying down the left wing. Over his stick. Icing will be the call. Whoa. Tough-o, Bob. McLeish, or make that leash, gets foot on it. Turnbull tries to throw it back in the zone. McKinney gets lumber on it. Comes free to Joe Watson. Tries to go off the boards to Bob Kelly and does. Looks for breaking Reggie Leach. Onside. Leach over the lines. Knocked into the corner by Bob Clark. Turnbull there. Kelly knocks down the puck. Tripped up underneath Kelly. Kicking it out to neutral ice. Bladen keeps it in. Backhands it. Knocked down by Carlyle. He loses the handle and backhands it the length of the ice. Joe Watson hustling for the puck. This will be icing. It's waved off. Didn't go over the blue line. Good play by Joe Watson, but jumps right off Bladen's stick. Bladen. Here comes Ferguson's shot. And Perrant was really out of position on that one.
I think it changed directions on the way to the net. It might have hit the defenseman Joe Watson there. And it was Bernie Winch.
But second line of Ferguson and Thompson and McKinney going absolutely bananas. Shot by Pelech, didn't get much wood on it. Knocked down by Bob Daly. Lofts it off the boards for breaking Harvey Bennett, but it's Randy Carlyle. Going off the boards to Lanny McDonald. Deep into the Philadelphia zone. Perrant gets stick on it. Drops it off for Jimmy Watson. Goes off the boards to Bennett. Beats McDonald to it. Carlyle has to go to the backhand. Sittler hustling for the puck. Tries to throw it out in front. Backhands it right on the stick of Bob Daly. He goes off the glass to Kindrachuk. Wing to breaking Harvey Bennett with Holmgren trailing, but it's behind him. Holmgren looks for Daly. Into the blue line. In comes Daly. The puck is coughed up, but we will have a face-off. Harvey Bennett can't get stick on it. Comes free to Lanny McDonald. Tries to move around Moose DuPont. Knocked down nicely by Paul Holmgren to Kindrachuk with the puck to Jimmy Watson. Holds, fakes the shot, wrist shot. Dug out nicely by Boryasami. Sent the length of the ice. This will be icing when it's touched up by the Flyers' Jimmy Watson. 4:25 to 6 to go. Doing double shifting. Intercepted by the Leafs. Thrown out the neutral ice. Knocked down, but it jumps over Moose DuPont's stick. McDonald on DuPont. Throws it back quick onto Rick McLeish's stick. Back checking Salming. McLeish's shot. Oh, went wide. I'm not sure if Thomas got anything on it. Lansbury can't find the handle. Turn around. Poked away. And the Leafs, Darryl Sittler with the puck. Pulls away from LaPointe. But it goes to Ross Lansbury. Goes off to Rick McLeish. Knocked down beautifully by Ian Turnbull. LaPointe throws it back into the Leaf zone. Under 4 minutes in the period. Zooming around the boards for Lanny McDonald. Goes off the boards. In the same zone was Darryl Sittler. Onside with Williams trailing. Off the Williams. Shot. Great save by Perron.
Save by Perron.
Super save by Bernie, Bobby.
Oh, definitely. He's made two really tough saves this period to keep Flyers within reach.
Flyers, Rick LaPointe playing in his first game. Perhaps a bit nervous. Heads to the bench. 3:30 to go in the hockey game, at least in this period at the moment. Thomas throws it into the corner where Tiger Williams tries to crank it around the board. Knocked down nicely by Tom Bladen. But he has to wait for DuPont to get onside. High into the air, into the corner. Going for it, Boryasami with Bill Barber in there for Philadelphia. Bladen can't keep it in the zone. Comes back to Joe Watson. Goes 40 feet the wrong way. Almost fans on a giveaway and does. The Weir to a breaking Boryasami. Retreats and then throws it back into the Philadelphia zone. Exactly 3 minutes to go in the period. Joe Watson. Forechecking is Stan Weir. Stick handling for Philadelphia right onto the stick of Bob Clark. Clark gets to the red line, throws it into the zone. Selesky in a foot race with Neely. Neely with the puck. Barber comes in deep, so does Joe Watson. Clark right there, and the Leafs attempting to come out 3-on-2. But Bladen beats Neely to the puck. Off the boards, kept in by Weir. Neely is in the slot, but Bladen reads it beautifully and knocks it off his skate. Stick handling is Tom Bladen. The Flyers. 3 people into the zone, into the corner. Barber and Boutet. Joe Watson tries to keep it in the zone. The legs getting a bit soft now. Off the board to Randy Carlyle. Going solo against Joe Watson. Oh! Perron makes the glove save. Gets it off for Tom Bladen. 2:20 and counting in the period. Bladen stick handling for Philadelphia. Off to Don Selesky. Looks for Barber. Slightly behind him. Everybody on side. No, Kindrachuk on the off wing. And the Flyers having tired legs. Sudden victory overtime. Jimmy Watson pumps it into the Leaf zone. Hard around the boards. Hustling forward is Earl Thompson. Off Reggie Leach's stick to Ferguson and poked away nicely by Leach. We have exactly 2 minutes to go in tonight's hockey game. Leach off to Oris Kindrachuk, still in the Philadelphia zone. Drops it off for Reggie Leach. Throws it down, onside. Oh, offside. The call as it hit Boryasami, but it came back over the Leafs to take the draw with George Ferguson. 150 moves in. Comes off to Boryasami, goes off the boards, knocked down by Jimmy Watson. Everybody onside, in on goaltender Wayne Thomas. Off to Ian Turnbull. Throws at the length of the ice, and let's see, is it going to die? No, it won't. This will be icing as soon as it's hustled and touched by Watson. 1:35 to go here in the George Thompson to take the draw. Knocked down, but not out. Fanning on the puck. It's Gary Dornhofer. He can't find the handle. Here come the Leafs 2-on-2. McKinney on the right wing has the puck on a feed from Ferguson. Throws it into the corner where it's Bladen trying to take Ferguson off. It comes free to Rick McLeish. Knocks down the puck. Headmans it to Ross Lansbury. 1:18 to go over the line. Still stick handles. Tries to get a stick down. Throws it in. Thomas makes the save, and finally Van Helleman said, let's stop. 32 seconds to go. Bob Clark to take the draw with Darryl Sittler. The Flyers trail by a goal. The all-important face-off. The Leafs have 5 people straight across the Flyers, 2 with Barber at the left point as if in a power play stance. Down goes Bob Clark and goes into the corner. Bob Daly tries to keep the puck in, can't do it. Hustling forward is Bill Barber. Daly off to Bob Clark, still in the zone. Off to Reggie Leach, can't get a stick down. And it's Williams off the board to Sittler, and we're in the last minute of the play. Bill Barber knocks down the rolling puck. Almost a giveaway to Darryl Sittler. Perron still looking to the bench. Now he's going. Bob Clark with the puck. Pulls up to a breaking Bob Daly. Into the zone. Knocked down, but not out. Barber has Leach in the crease. Closes, holds, stick handles. Tries to throw it around in front. Bob Clark controls for Philadelphia. Daly is free. Throws it out to Paul Holmgren. Can't get a stick down. And it comes the length of the ice. Icing will be waved off. 30 seconds and counting. Can Philadelphia get the equalizer? Off to Rick McLeish. Darryl Sittler throws it into the zone. 25. Barber can crank it up one more time. Hard off the board. Delaney McDonald on a giveaway. Shot. Whistles wide off the glass. Comes free to Paul Holmgren. He goes off to Bob Clark. 15 seconds and counting. Turnbull, high in the air. Daly can't find the handle. Bill Barber does. Gets it to Bob Clark. To Paul Holmgren. 10 seconds to go. To Reggie Leach. Still in the zone. Comes out. Holmgren off the Leach. To Sittler. To Bill Barber with 3 seconds to go. Clark and Turnbull and the Leafs off to congratulate goaltender Mike Thomas in relief of rookie Mike Palmateer, and what the Leafs wanted to do to come to Philadelphia and win 1 out of 2 games to get the swing of the home ice advantage, and they leap off with a struggling 3-2 victory after jumping out to a 3-0 first period lead in the first 8 minutes and 52 seconds, and they were the difference tonight. And I think 2 of the outstanding guys on the ice for the Leafs, Earl Thompson, George Ferguson, and Randy Carlyle, the young defenseman, as those 3 guys were the difference here at the Spectrum tonight. The final score again, the Flyers 2 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 3. You see the Toronto Maple Leafs coming into the dressing room, and happy young people they are for sure. Star number 3 from the Leafs, Darryl Sittler. Lanny McDonald, star number 2. And there are 2 of tonight's stars, both from the Leafs. McLeish and Bob Daly scoring power play goals for Philadelphia to cut the margin to 3-2. So the Leafs winning in their last 2 appearances here in Philadelphia. And if the Flyers do win on Wednesday night, will necessitate game number 5, but Flyer fans have to hope that Philadelphia will be able to come up with a victory here. And I think the first period was the difference. The Leafs having the, I guess, advantage at the moment anyway of playing those 3 tough games with Pittsburgh, having to win in Pittsburgh, and jumping out 3 quick goals. In fact, it could have been a heck of a lot more had Philadelphia been able to not been able to get some great saves from Bernie Parent. A lot of 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, and it was Sittler, Williams, and Thompson in the first period, and that was tonight's hockey game with Earl Thompson getting the game winner at the 8:52 mark. Philadelphia ended up with 29 shots on goal, getting 11 in the final period. The Leafs had 8 in the final period for a game total of 24. Penalties assessed in that third and final period. Somming off for tripping at the 10:01 mark, and Daly just 26 seconds later converted. Let's pick it up on replay with assists going to Billy Barber and Rick McLeish. Bob Daly gets his first goal. Barber takes it in, and a wrist shot coming up here, short side, high off the ice, past Wayne Thomas, and Philadelphia cut the margin to 3-2, and was a happy bunch of Flyers at the 10:27 mark. Had almost the entire third period to get the game winner, but couldn't connect, as the Leafs, playing excellent defensive hockey, going only with 4 defensemen, and at one point in time in that third period did have 2 defensemen in the penalty box, Randy Carlyle and Borje Salming. Philadelphia scoring that goal on a 4-3 situation. Joe Watson went off at the 11:18 mark, and Philadelphia managed to keep the Leafs from